friends, we're back again with another read aloud. This one is a little on the longer side, but it's a great story. This story is called Finn McCool, the Giant of Knockmany Hill by Tom de Paola. He's a famous author. But here is Finn McCool. Now, if you notice his size compared to the house, what do you think Finn McCool is? Let's read and find out. Finn McCool. In olden times, when Ireland's glens and woods were still filled with fairies and leprechauns, giants, too, lived on that fair Emerald Isle. One of the finest of those folk was Finn McCool, who was wed to the lovely great lass Ogna. They made their home at the top of Knockmany Hill. So there's Finn and his wife. So it seems that they must be giants. Now, as many a good giant, Finn McCool had his work to do, so he was often away from home. Lovely Ogna didn't seem to mind, for there was plenty to keep her own hands busy, spinning, knitting, and even giving a pretty touch to their great house. Life was very pleasant indeed. One morning, when Finn McCool was busy working with his kin, building a causeway to Scotland, the word came that Cuchulainn was coming. Now, if you know anything about Ireland, there is a famous place in Northern Ireland called the Giant's Causeway. So this is a real place. You could always ask Mom and Dad to look it up for you. So they have tucked this into this fairy tale. So let's see, who is Cuchulainn and why are they all kind of up in arms about it? Like, Cuchulainn's coming, Cuchulainn's coming. Who is this Cuchulainn? Well, Cuchulainn was a giant too, and without a doubt, the strongest in that part of the world. When he walked, the very earth trembled, and with one blow of his fist, he had flattened a thunderbolt, so it looked like a pancake. He was so proud of that he kept the thunderbolt in his pocket to show others just how strong he was. Every giant in Ireland had been given a good beating by Cuchulainn. Every giant, that is, except Finn McCool. And Cuchulainn swore by the green that he would never rest, day or night, winter or summer, until Finn McCool was added to his list. So, hearing all of that about Cuchulainn, do you think he is a good giant or a bad giant? So far, Finn had been smart enough. He had kept moving about whenever he heard that Cuchulainn was in the neighborhood. But this time, Cuchulainn was sure to get him. So Finn left the causeway and sped off for Knockmany Hill, his house and his darling Ogna. "Finn, my love," said Ogna, greeting him at the door, "what brings you home so early from your work?" "The chance to get a sight of you, my sweet thing," said Finn. Since he was as honest as the summer day is long, he added, "and to keep out of the way of Cuchulainn. He's after me." So there he is, running home. Here he is back with his wife. Not only did he want to see her, he also is trying to get away. No one wants to get beat up. Ogna soothed her husband. She brought him his slippers and lit a pipe for him. She stirred up the peat fire so it would be cozy and warm. Then she set down a huge mug of stout and cut a gigantic slab of soda bread for her dearie. "Finn, husband of mine, enough is enough," said Ogna as gently as she could. "For years you've been hiking around from one place to another to avoid this Cuchulainn. Why, you even built our house high on the windiest of hills so you would be able to spy him when he was coming. You'll not get a moment's rest until you stand fast and face him." "Aye, I'll be getting plenty of rest if I stand fast and he knocks me down. I don't have the heart to face a man who can make a young earthquake just with his walk, and who carries around a flattened thunderbolt in his pocket just to prove his strength." Finn's like, I agree. However, he is very strong and not nice, and I really don't want to get hurt. So, running is the only thing he can do. At that, Knockmany Hill gave a little dance. He's coming, said Finn, his face turning a fine shade of pale green. Now hush, said Ugna, and give me time to think. Do you worry that I won't do all that I can to help you settle this matter once and for all? Ugna then worked a charm the fairies had taught her. She took 9 woolen threads, each of a different color, and braided them into 3 braids. She put one around her right arm, one circling her heart, and the third around her right ankle. Now, nothing she could do would fail. So she put like a little magic spell on herself that no matter her plan, it would work. Do you see the braids around her arm, her heart, and her ankle? Let's see if it works. Next, she sent around to all the neighbors to borrow 1 in 20 iron frying pans. Now, 1 in 20 is 21 frying pans. She hid them in 1 in 20 loaves of bread that she baked on the fire in the usual way. So she made the dough and she put the frying pan inside the dough, covered it up, and baked it in the oven. Could you imagine a loaf of bread with a frying pan hiding inside of it? Ow. She set them in the cupboard with some bread she had baked the day before. She took a pot of milk and made it into fresh wet cheese and put it along with some white stones, and they all looked the same. At the foot of the cradle, she made up for a baby. Now, my darling, she said, handing Finn some baby clothes, put these on and do everything just as I'm about to tell you. And remember, she said at last, Cuchulain's strength lies in the brass finger he has on his right hand. Now quick, into the cradle, because I hear that man mountain at our door. So she has made regular bread and bread with frying pans inside of them. She has made cheese that look just like white stones, and she has made her husband dress up like a baby. What is her plan? I wonder what she's going to try to do. Let's see. All right, woman, bellowed the giant at the door. Where's that coward Finn McCool that I've been chasing after all this time? Well, well, said Ugna with her sweetest smile. Now isn't that a shame? Finn is off working on the causeway when some important family affair called him away. But he'll be home by tea time. So why don't you just come right in and sit down? Poor Finn trembled in the cradle. Now, did Finn really go on a trip somewhere? Is it going to work? See this, Cuchulain said, pulling what looked like a pancake out of his pocket. This was a thunderbolt, until I caught it and flattened it. And that's what I'm going to do to Finn McCool, too, said Ugna. That may not be as easy as you think. Finn McCool's a big broth of a man. Why, take a look at our little baby. You might be getting an idea of the strength and breadth of Finn himself. Cuchulain peeked in the cradle. Said the huge baby, looking back at him. My, said Cuchulain, what a big boy. While you're waiting, why not have a bite to eat, said Ugna. She put some loaves of bread on the table, along with a can or 2 of butter and a pile of cabbages. So he's looking at Finn, who's pretending to be a baby, and he's like, whoa. Does Cuchulain realize that that's actually Finn? Let's see what happens with the snacks on the table. Cuchulain, who is much of a glutton means he likes to eat all the time, as he was a bully, plopped a loaf of bread into his mouth and took a big bite, right down on one of the frying pans. Clang! Yow! Shouted Cucullin. What kind of devil's bread is this? Here are two of my teeth out. So look, do you see the frying pan in the bread that he bit? And look, his teeth fell out. Oh, that's Finn's bread, the only kind he eats, said Ugna. Is it a bit too tough for you? Too tough for me, shouted Cucullin. I should say not. Just give me another. Cucullin chomped into another loaf and into another frying pan. I'll have not a tooth left in my mouth, woman. Here's two more out. Cucullin hollered even louder. Oh dear, look. Did he learn his lesson from the first time? So here's the first bit of bread. Here's the second bit of bread. If he keeps this up, he will be toothless. We know how that goes with George Washington, don't we? The baby began to holler too. Hungry, hungry, hungry. Ah, sweet dumpling, said Ugna. She handed baby Finn a loaf of bread. But because there was no frying pan in this loaf, Finn ate it right down. More, said the baby, and he gobbled up another loaf. He seems a strong lad, said Cucullin, getting a little worried. If this was the baby, the father indeed must be a bit stronger than Cucullin thought. Ah, yes, said Ugna, beaming. Why, instead of dollies, he loves to play with those white stones there in his cradle. Show the nice man, dear baby. So look, here he is eating the bread. Cucullin is not super smart. He thinks it's the exact same kind of bread. But is it? All right, so she's talking about these. Now remember, some are cheese and some are real rocks. Finn did as he was told. He picked up a stone that was really the cheese, squeezed all the water out of it, and popped it in his mouth and ate it down. Cucullin was not to be outdone by a baby. He grabbed a stone and squeezed, and squeezed, and squeezed. Squeeze as he might, he could not get one drop of water out of it. So he popped it in his mouth, and with a chomp, there went the rest of his teeth. Oh dear. So think for a second. Is Ugna's plan working? Does Cucullin know that the baby is actually Finn McCool? At this point, Cucullin thinks the baby is very strong, and he has also knocked all his teeth out between frying pan bread and stone cheese. The howl that came out of him almost broke the windows. When he finally calmed down, Cucullin said to Ugna, what kind of teeth does that lad have? They must be made of iron. Let me see your chompers, baby. At that, baby Finn opened wide his mouth, and Cucullin stuck in his brass finger, the very brass finger that was the secret to his strength. What is Finn about to do? Look, Ugna finds it very funny. What is Finn going to do? With a strong bite, Finn McCool bit the brass finger right off. Then up Finn leapt and began to pound the daylights out of poor, weak Cucullin. And that was that. Out the door went Cucullin, never to bother anyone, let alone Finn McCool again. Tea's ready, my love, said Ugna, and Finn McCool sat down with the best giant wife in the whole world. And they lived a happy, long life. So, did Ugna's plan work? Did they trick Cuchulainn? Did Finn end up being safe and sound? I think he did. And that is the end of the story. So, Finn McCool had some trouble at the beginning of the book, right? First we learned about him and his wife, and then the other giant, Cuchulainn. Okay, so at the end of the story, was Finn McCool successful by following his wife's plan? Go find someone in your house and tell them about what happened to Finn McCool and how he and his wife beat the mean giant Cuchulainn. I hope you enjoyed this story. It's a good one, and I hope to read to you soon. See you later. Bye.